Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Boobies and Newbies. You can follow us at Boobies Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you'd like to support the podcast and get a little extra bonus Boobies content every month, you can support us on Patreon at Boobies Podcast. Welcome to Boobies and Newbies, the podcast that asks novice romance readers to think outside the dick in a box and brave the unbridled world of erotica. I'm your host, Kelly Reynolds, and today I'm joined by fitness enthusiast, donut lover, and class of 2019 college grad, Chris Kim. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much. I gotta say, I love the intro. Like every time I heard it on the podcast before, every time I tell someone like just think outside the box, it made in my head things like I'm almost about to say dick in a box. I'm like, whoa, no, that's not
do it. I love it. You know what? It's actually I've had multiple people tell me too that they're like, I accidentally said think outside the dick in a box, and I was like, great, spread it around like wildfire.
Hey, free advertising right there.
Yeah, so. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So you just graduated. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The ceremony was yesterday. It was very surreal and very awesome.
Yeah, and now you get to live the rest of your life.
Doing what is the question, right? Doing what? It's like, that's the biggest question once you guys are like, all right, now what do I do?
Well, yeah. And I feel like you've already created a brand. Like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, you know, I a lot of the work I do outside of the podcast, like, you know, the real life work, I study and write a lot about like TikTok and YouTube and influencers and everything. And it's amazing to me how many people have already created this life for themselves before the age of like 19, 20. And I'm just like, Jesus, I feel so unaccomplished. Like it's insane. But I mean, you really tell everybody about your brand, Lift Hungry.
Right. No, so Lift Hungry is like an account I started about, it's almost coming up on this 2 years too as well. I've never, yeah, this is pretty awesome. I haven't really promoted that part, but it's funny the transition because like, it's a fitness account, and it's definitely something that I want to turn into like a message and a mission statement of what I do. And before, when Lift Hungry, when I started, you know, I was trying to make it like every other fitness enthusiast out there, but I realized that was the biggest mistake. Like, why am I trying to copy these people in like promoting like workout videos like that looks like in this method, or just like these cheesy motivation captions, just like work hard, motivation Mondays. It's like, what the hell am I doing? This is not like...
I get enough of that on my Instagram feed.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted something like different and fun and just like more tailored to me, you know, like what I view what fitness should be. And I have this thing where like, it's basically, I'm a fitness explorer, you know, it's like I do a lot of things that not only involve fitness and bettering myself, but also bettering what I do and also helping everybody in the community, which is also one thing that I started to as well on Saturdays. Every Saturday near the local community area, I host a free workout session for everyone or anybody to come, bring friends and family, and it's just a really cool community thing that not a lot of communities have, you know? So,
right. No, and I mean, I think that's what would motivate a lot more people to actually like work out too, is that knowing that it's not just going to the gym, you know, riding the treadmill, doing some weights and leaving. Like, you have a community, you have supporters and everything. And I think that's what Lift Hungry does. Yeah,
and it's just like, it's just live your life to the fullest. That's all it really is what I've been promoting on my Instagram and just trying to do more with the creative content toward behind. And of course, the donut photoshops that you've probably seen on Instagram is just
we got to talk about the donuts. We have to talk about the donuts because I feel like the reason we came to know each other is because my roommate goes to the same gym as you.
Yes, she
but
does.
She specifically was like, Kelly, you have to meet this guy, Chris, because he loves donuts.
I absolutely love him.
And if any of my friends know that I love donuts too. Right. So I was like, oh my gosh, well, a friendship is born. Like,
exactly.
So, I mean, you're sitting in front of me here. Mm-hmm. You just finished eating a donut.
Yes.
You have a water bottle with a donut on it that says, "Do not ever give up."
Yes,
like,
I do.
What do you love about donuts? Like, what's your favorite thing about donuts?
So I think it just revolves around when I was a kid, like, every morning my mom would drop me off to school early in the mornings, but before I would go to school, this was like in elementary towards middle school.
Yeah.
We'd stop by Foster's Donut, which is actually in
Yes.
Yeah. Is that where you got these donuts, by the way?
It is.
I knew it. I was like, that white bag looks familiar. This donut tastes familiar. Yeah.
Anybody who lives outside of the Montrose La Crescenta area of Los Angeles probably has absolutely no idea what we're talking about.
Is it a franchise though? It's not. No,
I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, we have this place up the street called Foster's Family Donut, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what it is, and it's just so local, and it's not the fancy kind that you see on Facebook and tasty videos. Like this is the straight up get your donut for $1 and go kind of place.
Exactly. Just get the donut and that's it. You don't need any of that extra stuff.
Yeah. So, I love it. I love donuts, and I like the fancy ones too. I mean, who am I kidding? Like if they're gonna put bacon on it, I'm not gonna say no.
That is true. Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of donut?
So honestly, my favorite it's the classic Homer Simpson donut, but the difference is between the cake donut and the flour donut. A flour donut is like a bag of chips. Yeah. When you open it up, there's 50% air, 50% real.
Yes.
When you get a cake donut, that's just all love.
All there.
It's all love.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally a cake. Old fashions are like my favorite.
Yes,
but
that's how we do it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. What about what's your opinion on donuts without chocolate?
Donuts without chocolate? You mean like all right, Krispy Kremes. Only Krispy Kreme donuts.
Okay, that's fair. Yes. That's fair. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not a glazed person. I want the chocolate, or I do like maple. Maple is a good.
Maple's good, yeah.
It's a good substitution for chocolate. Like if I'm not having chocolate, I'll have maple.
There was this time, I don't know if you've seen them. No, it was a while ago on my Instagram, but I posted a story on how I was at Chick-fil-A. It was right after a CrossFit competition. I was at Chick-fil-A, the drive-thru, and then right across from me was the drive-thru entrance to Krispy Kremes. And I was like, I gotta do something great. And I got 2 Krispy Kreme donuts, replaced the buns off that Chick-fil-A sandwich, and I put it in between the Chick-fil-A sandwich and made a Krispy Kreme Chick-fil-A cross-collaboration sandwich.
I mean, I can't believe that they haven't partnered yet to release something like that. We actually had a place in Chicago where they were a donut shop and they sold fried chicken sandwiches, and you could get the donut sandwich with the fried chicken. And I never did it because I was like, I love both of these things equally. I don't know if I need them together, but was it great?
It was great, but then not great 20 minutes after, because you get the sugar high, you get the meat high, and then all of a sudden you just crash. And mind you this, I was still 50 minutes away from home, still driving with this belly full of just all things that will kill you.
I could see either really wanting to nap or really being like, I need a toilet.
I needed to nap. I was like, I should have done this at home.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Live and learn. Live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn. Just don't die. That's all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, so before we talk about the book, tell everybody where they can find and follow you and Lift Hungry.
So right now I'm only on Instagram at lift_hungry, and basically I have a Facebook for my group page as well for my Saturday workouts, but that I haven't really been paying much attention to. But I'm mostly on Instagram, and then I love to connect with other people, and I would be down for some more collaborations with it, especially like with this collaboration I love doing. Like being on your podcast is honestly so amazing. Like this is awesome.
I'm excited to have you, and any excuse to get some donuts to eat with friends is fine by me. So with that, let's jet off to our discussion of the day, and we're going to be talking about the book Stud, a smart, sexy romantic comedy by, I'm not sure if it's Siskind or Siskind.
I'd say Siskind for some reason.
Siskind. Yeah, I like that. Kelly Siskind. And that sis that's kind. Kelly Siskind.
Nice. Potato, all that stuff.
Sorry, Kelly. Apologies in advance for getting your name wrong.
Yeah, and like Gordon Ramsay, he says Basil. I'm like, who the hell? What? It's Basil.
Basil.
It's like, Gordon Ramsay says Basil. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I know. That's true. If it is Gordon Ramsay, we'll let it slide.
Exactly.
And Kelly's book was published in January 2018, and it's available on Amazon for $3.99 Kindle edition. Although if you're like Chris, you rolling up in here with the paperback edition. And I think we both actually tried listening to the Audible audiobook for some time, and it didn't strike my fancy. You?
No, it was very dry. It's just it's just.
I feel like we need better readers for Audible books in general.
Yeah. And also the thing about the Audible too is that the girl would say the guy parts, and it confuses me because
I know.
They do their best attempt to sound like a guy, but like, just get a guy. You know?
I know that's kind of what I would prefer too, is like having like multiple readers, like almost like readers theater. Like you have like the narrator, and then like this person, like everybody plays different parts.
Yeah, it's just like when you're in school and like, hey, who's gonna take this part? Okay, you and that.
But I can imagine how difficult that would be to like coordinate making that happen.
I mean, it's just reading. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe reading off of paper sounds more difficult than it sounds. Okay, I shouldn't critic so quickly. So
it's fine. It's fine. So sorry, Audible, and all the people who read audiobooks out there for us criticizing you, but we need better. So
yes, please make my car rides a little bit more entertaining. But not that entertaining, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and this one got very entertaining, if you know what I mean, in many places. So before we talk about the book, I have to ask you, before reading Stud, had you ever read a romance novel before?
I have never read a romance novel before, and this is definitely was my first. And I would say that if for any novice romance readers or someone who hasn't read a romance novel, I feel like this would be a good start.
Oh, great!
Yeah, because I feel like it wasn't too intense. It wasn't too, like, I guess, what's the correct rating? G-rated, but it was just like right in the middle. For
it's definitely not G, and it's definitely not a hard R. Like there's definitely moments like when they get into like the explicit content where it seems like super graphic, like out of context kind of thing, where it was like I didn't expect it from the rest of the book. Like the rest of the book did seem very kind of like PG-13, like Netflix rom-com sort of thing.
Like it's like if you were to see a Netflix rom-com, like I think I've told you this before, it's like now you know what's actually thinking inside their heads, the dialogue inside their heads instead of what they're actually saying. Yeah. No,
that's a good way to think about it. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think it's definitely a safe one to start with for people who haven't really read romance before. I mean, it's called Stud, and you'll see why I chose it once you hear the Amazon synopsis, because it's hysterical the way that it's written. Just like the book. I feel like the book had me laughing like a bunch of times. And some of them were like, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy laughs. And then some of them were kind of like, that's actually really funny laughs. So
this book got me definitely just like saying, what? Yeah. Just like, woo! Oh, damn. Oh,
reactions. That's what we like. Yes. That's what we want.
Yeah, I was just
that's
like,
good.
Oh my God.
Had you ever thought about reading a romance novel before?
No, I have not actually. I don't tend to read that many books. Although I've been telling myself, it's like New Year's resolutions. Like you tell yourself to read more books, it just never happens.
Okay,
it's just
got it.
But this, embarrassing enough, this was my first read of this year of a book besides my school books.
See, so. we're living each other's New Year's resolutions, because my New Year's resolution is always like, I'm going to go to the gym more, and yours is that I'm going to read more books, and you're for sure like living at the gym, and I read like a book a day. So I mean, it's.
We need to trade lives a little bit.
Yeah, so. Exactly. We need a body swap.
Exactly.
We need a body swap.
We need a Freaky Friday situation here.
Yes, so exactly. Well, and if anybody listened to our fan fiction from last month, we actually talked about body swapping fan fiction romance. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, that's right. That's a whole different podcast, though, Chris. We won't get into that.
All right.
Okay, so let me give everybody a quick synopsis of this book, and then we'll dive down into the dirty. So before we get to our synopsis, let's take a break for a quick Podcoin promo. Podcoin is the app that pays you to listen to this podcast and all your other favorites. Just get the Podcoin app on iPhone or Android. It's free, super easy to use, and you can use the Podcoins you earn to claim gift cards or donate to charity. Check out the Podcoin app and use the invite code BoobsNoobs to earn 300 Podcoins just for signing up. And now, back to the boobylicious content. Here's the synopsis straight from Amazon for Stud by Kelly Siskind. A down-to-earth carpenter, a Prada-loving personal shopper, a Habitat for Humanity project that erects more than walls. I wish everyone could see Chris's face right now.
No, I never even read the synopsis. I went straight into the book. Is that really what it says?
This is like one of the reasons I chose this book, is because there were so many fucking puns about building and nailing and erecting things all in this synopsis. So here we go. Okay.
Oh, God.
The word nail has so many meanings. Ainsley's manicured nails belong in the Museum of Modern Art. The fashionista hammers nails at Habitat for Humanity. She desperately wants to nail Owen Phillips. Unfortunately, she mistakenly thinks he's gay. Owen needs to shed his hellish last few years, yearning for the simpler things in life, like working with his hands. The finance mogul joins a Habitat build. Turns out he also wants to work over Ainsley Hall, but the confusing bombshell flirts blatantly with other men. When Ainsley discovers Owen's true sexuality, their mutual attraction ignites, but he hasn't shared details about his past. If Ainsley gets wind of the lies chasing him, it will take more than hammers and nails and nailing studs to keep their walls from caving in.
You know what? Someone needs to grab a hammer and a nail and just nail my head.
Yeah.
After reading that, yeah. nail my ears shut. That's what they need to do.
Oh boy,
oh
yeah, that's.
Is that really what they said? Oh my
They
God.
did, you know, and I have to say, when you agreed to do the podcast, I of course looked for a romance with donuts and wasn't having the most luck. I'm sure there's some out there. I just was not finding them. This book I chose, one, because of the hilarious synopsis that has way too many euphemisms, but I love it. Two, because after reading the sample of this book, like they give you like the first like kind of 20 pages to read as a sample on Amazon. They mentioned chocolate within like the first 2 pages. So I was like, oh, well, great.
Right.
And then also Ainsley's birthday is on April 12th. And in the book, she turns 28 on April 12th. And this year, I turned 28 on April 12th.
Oh, so it's just like
yes!
just all lined up for this.
It was
like, just
meant to be.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And then I thought you'd get a kick out of this.
Yes.
I didn't know this until later, but I was reading Kelly Siskind's bio on Amazon. And it said, a small town girl at heart, Kelly moved from the city to open a cheese shop with her husband in northern Ontario.
Like chakra chi? Like, is that what it is?
No, cheese.
Oh, cheese. Oh, okay.
What did you hear?
I heard chi as in C-H-I, like chi. You know, some
like
yoga.
She's rearranging her chi.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Tai Chi.
Yeah, like she's
No.
teaching
Cheese.
Chi. Okay.
Yeah, she
Oh,
moved to open a cheese shop with her husband. When she's not neck deep in cheese or out hiking, you can find her notepad in hand scribbling down one of the many plot bunnies bouncing around in her head.
God. Jesus, plot bunnies. Well, they do multiply, so.
Yes. So I thought that was cute too. So, okay. So let's talk about stud.
Yes.
I mean,
God.
let me also mention that one of the books that's also in the series is called Legs.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the other options.
Yeah, and then at the end, it was her new book coming out called Licks. I'm like, what's this up with this? Like,
yeah, these one-word titles.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if she's doing a thing where like you get all of her books in a collection, and you could actually make like a sentence or word out of it. That'd be a really cool like idea.
Make a what?
Like a sentence out of all of her books. You know?
Oh,
yeah.
oh, you know what? That is a cool idea. I don't think that's it
Yeah, so
because
it's a
I
collection
don't
that's strings
think.
together.
Yeah, but what a fun idea though for titles is like having them all actually form like a sentence together.
Exactly, because you have Stud, her next book or whatever she's written already called Licks.
Yeah.
And then you have her book Legs. So
Yeah.
Stud, Licks, Legs. So, you know.
I mean, could be. Maybe she
exactly.
really is, thinking that. I'm not sure what the message of Stud licks legs would be.
Well, it's to be continued because maybe there's other books coming out.
Stud licks legs. The next one's going to be and.
And, exactly.
He licks legs and...
You know
what else is he licking, Chris?
Oh, man. Or, like, what is he not licking? You know?
That's a better question.
Yeah.
What is Stud not licking?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when we start this book off, it takes place in the Bay Area. First of all, I love that. I'm from San Francisco area. Our leading male, Owen, lives in Oakland, which is right next to where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
Although I made a note when I was reading that I was like, wait a second, this guy affords a studio in Oakland and he has space to workshop the wood projects he's making. And
Well, if I remember correctly, Bay Area is expensive, isn't it?
it is so expensive. Like a 1-bedroom is like $3,000.
That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me?
So I'm just like, this guy got a great deal on his apartment.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, but definitely not the rates that I know my friends pay in the Bay Area.
Flies.
Okay, so what were your overall impressions of Stud?
My overall impression, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, this was definitely a very funny read, and it was also very heartfelt and also sad at some moments. Like I really had moments where I was just like I was feeling the characters, I understood, and just it was very funny at certain points, and it was just like it's just like a basic almost like read of just like how romantic, like if your life was in a romantic comedy, you'd probably
it did
like
feel
see
very
this
real.
way.
Like a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and, the characters are going through certain hardships in their life, and then all of a sudden they run into each other in a meet cute situation, and just hit it off real quick, and all of a sudden things just work out.
It had a very romantic comedy or like TV show sitcom kind of vibe to me, because like all the characters like were all linked in some way. Like we first meet Ainsley early on when she's with like her girlfriends, and they're at a Soul Cycle class or a spin class, and
step class or something like that.
Yeah. And it is step, because
of course I remember that, the fitness junkie
of course you're like it was step, excuse me. And but no, and we find out quickly that she had a crush on who we later find out to be Owen's brother, and Owen's brother is gay. And this leads to why she thinks Owen is gay, is because she sees them embracing and his brother grabbing his ass, like, but she doesn't know it's his brother. It was very like sitcom, kind of farcical that way. Like I was like, okay, that's everybody knows everyone, but they don't know everything about everyone.
Exactly. It was almost like a grab from Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell.
Yes. Oh my god, that's one of my favorites.
Such a good movie, honestly.
I love that movie.
It was great. The whole directing, the whole plot twist was just like on point. I was like, David Lindhocken.
If anybody hasn't watched Crazy Stupid Love, you
Please
definitely should, because like the whole climax of that movie, when like all the stories tie together, is so fucking good. Like it's the best part of the movie.
It is absolutely the best. And also you can't mess with the actors. Like come on, like Steve Carell, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling. That is a cast setup.
Oh my god, Well, I think it was like the movie too that made everybody think that Steve Carell was like sexy. I was like, yeah, he's got this cool thing going on.
He turned into like a real like DILF after that one.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's him, and then recently Seth Rogen was on the cover of GQ, and so people were like, damn, this guy's fine. I'm like, I know he is. Like it's amazing what a haircut will do, right?
You know what? All guys need is just a fresh cut and gel. We just
it.
need one step to get ready, and that's it.
And like a t-shirt that's like not stained.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that always will surprise me is that when girls buy all these products and stuff, some of my friends who are girls, they still have more cash than me. I'm like, I only buy gel. How the hell are you paying for my dinner right now when I'm broke as fuck, and you're like paying for all these other things?
Don't ask questions. Just let it happen. Just let them pay for your dinner. Go with it.
Oh man.
Just go with it. Like take advantage of that as long as you can.
My prideful says no, but my stomach says just do it.
Exactly. Oh boy. Okay, so when we start the story, Owen has recently moved to the Bay Area. He was living in Washington, D.C. He's going through this horrendous divorce that, oh my God, so much fucking baggage with that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's kind of his whole drama thing. And she has this crazy drama too, Ainsley, our main character. Her main job is that she's a personal shopper, and the bulk of her clients are married men, super, busy, powerful guys in like downtown San Francisco, and she's shopping for not only their wives but also for their mistresses, and she just feels dirty and like hates her, job that she's doing. And then she also has this like super dark background. I don't know how I felt about this. How did you feel about the whole thing where she has like this thing from high school where she was working at like a fast food joint, and it's like traumatized her for life because this guy that was like the manager like bullied her and locked her in the freezer. Anton. Yeah. God, what a villain name, right? Yeah. And we actually do get closure with that story too, which
it's a very random
encounter. Yeah, that was kind of how I felt. I didn't hate it, but I kind of was like, I don't know if this is what I needed. Like, I thought either it was going to be that was like her hang up, or the thing about like working for all the married guys was going to be the hang up. And it was a collection of all of it.
Yeah, it just all like started to collect all the way at the end.
Yeah.
But, I would say like that part of her talking about her past and everything was just like interesting. But I will say I do love the characters like past, not the traumatizing past, but like no, not their past, more of their storyline on like why they're doing this, why she's
right,
working like a dog for this and everything. So
yeah, no, and I mean it's great history, and I was amazed that they brought the character back that bullied her in high school, and she actually like approaches him and talks to him, and they work everything out, and it's fine. It seemed very like anticlimactic in terms of that, but
like
I also
3 pages worth.
Yeah, but I also did like that it was resolved and it didn't just turn into like another bullying story. Like I did like that that's resolved.
Yeah.
So you know, it's I don't think I would have included it in the story, but at the same time I did like how it was handled.
Yeah, it's if anything, it's kind of like a small message saying like things in the past won't matter really much in the future, because like it's just like, you know, like when it's like that thing when you graduate high school, right? Like there's a bunch of like cliques and everything, but as soon as you're out of high school, that shit doesn't matter. The cool kids table, the nerds table, or like, you know, the geek squad table, that shit doesn't matter. Everybody's friends, everybody's close with each other.
That's not gonna like affect you in the long run. I mean, in terms of like, you know, getting a job, getting married, like moving on, you know, I mean, obviously some people do leverage that to something, but
like this ain't no Gretchen Wiener situation. Mean Girls.
Nobody invented toaster strudel in this story, so there's that. But yeah, no, that's Ainsley, and then it begins 6 months into her 27th year, because the whole storyline is that she and her friends have this pact that I thought this was cute, that it's 3 of them and they all met on their 21st birthday.
Yeah, how coincidental is that? That's like...
Right? Like, there were a lot of coincidences in this book, for sure.
Oh,
but they all met when they were 21, out at a bar, and they, like, vowed from then on that, you know, like, they would always make this, like, wish for their birthday or whatever. And so her wish for 27 is to be a better person.
You know, it almost sounds like that Disney Channel thing, you know, like, it's just like, we're going to make a wish, each one of us, every year. It's just like,
I know,
and
then we're going to bottle up our wishes and bury them under the sand and then dig it up 20 years from now and see if we accomplished our wishes.
Oh, geez. I mean, it's sweet. It's sweet, I will say that. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, it's cute, and it just... I was like, okay, like her friend's wish that she was like accomplishing was like specific to like her career and everything, and then Ainsley's wish was like, I want to be a better person. I'm like, that is so vague. Like,
really
talk about not making smart goals, because how do you measure being a better person?
Yeah. You really can't measure that. You just and you shouldn't look at it as a measurable item. It's just how you should act every single day of your life.
Right.
Know?
And so
not during Christmas, every day.
Every day, not just Christmas, not the months leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
One of the things that I didn't like as much, and it's not that it hindered my reading of the book, it was just something that I thought about, especially as we got closer to the end, is I kept asking myself, what is she doing and what steps is she taking to actually accomplish this goal? Like,
you're right, actually.
The only thing she really did, and which serves as like the whole reason this book happens, is that she starts volunteering at Habitat for Humanity.
Right.
And that's where she meets Owen. And she does, you know, feel better by working there and everything. But other than that, she doesn't really do anything until the very end, when she quits her job. Not really quits her job, but she like fires the clients that she has that make her buy things for their mistresses. And she's like, I'm going to go open up my own business and do it right. And I'm like, okay, but we've had 200 pages between then and now.
Right.
What did you do?
It's almost like it was left out, that part. Or something like that.
Exactly. Like, so I was like, okay, obviously by the end of the book, is she a better person? Sure, I guess. Like, but yeah, it was odd. I was kind of like, isn't this your goal? Like, what are you doing?
Maybe probably like, it was just like a small filler, I guess. I don't know. Or just something like just to say to her friends, like, with just like, because she doesn't really know what this year's goal would be, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That could definitely be it. We've all been there.
Oh my gosh.
But no, but I think she genuinely does want to do more. Like, and I mean, I feel like we're both in our 20s. You just graduated college. I just turned 28 like Ainsley. So it's like, I feel like...
Yes, happy belated birthday, by the way. I remember, I keep on saying this to you. I don't know why, but I do.
No, you don't need to tell me happy birthday anymore. We're on to like the next birthday now.
We're on to the next year. On to the next one, yes. Thank you, next.
Yeah, thank you, next. Next 29, yikes. And then it's 30, yikes.
You know, we're already basically halfway through 2019. It's almost 2020, if you think about it. it is basically...
That means we're one step closer to the new president.
Oh... That should be interesting. It's going to be an interesting campaign for sure.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about it. We can't talk about it because I'm like, I don't want to jinx anything. I just want it to be better than what it is.
Right.
Regardless of who it is, it just needs to be better. Mm-hmm. So that's all I have to say about that, at least for now.
Yes, for now.
But
moving on, though.
What was your thoughts in general on both Ainsley and Owen? What did you think of them?
My thoughts on Ainsley, honestly, was just like, she's really a hard worker, and I get why she's doing this, to support her dad. And I thought that was really just heartfelt. Her dad losing her job because of injuries and everything, and the story where, like, it's so true when you see like a figure of like basically like your parent just breaking down and crying because they're like your idol. They're your rock. They're your rock. They're your pillar. And when they break down, you just break down too as well because you're just like, wait, why are they crying? I'm the one that cries to them.
It's hard to imagine. I'm, no, Mom, you're supposed to be the one to hug me and tell me everything's going to be okay. And the fact that, at some point those tables turn is, gosh, I don't even want to think about that with like my folks.
Yeah, like a true diamond in the rough, just like she's helping them pay for their mortgage and everything, support, and just like supporting just the whole family and just like, and all of that, she's just like really like holding it within herself and just like keeping all these secrets too, and and just feel like she's backstabbing these people and everything,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like I applaud you for all this, but then also like there are certain things where you should really step out of it, but it's hard. You can't really tell some of them when I need to like live for myself and also I need to support my family, and you have to do what you have to do sometimes for your family, at some point.
No, absolutely. And you're right, she definitely internalizes a lot of the things that are, haunting her back to high school too. Like this whole, traumatic event that happened when she was working at this fast food place.
Chucky's Chicken.
Chucky's Chicken.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Yeah.
It's like
a play off of
it is.
Cheese.
Yeah.
It was?
Chucky's
Okay, cool.
Chicken. I just kept thinking. I know it's probably supposed to be a play off of like Chuck E. Cheese, but like I kept picturing like Chucky the doll, like the one that like kills people.
Oh yeah.
Like Child's Play Chucky. I was no, that's a pass.
Yeah. Exactly. I will say this. I loved her, like, like alpha character for sure. Like when she first came, when she first met Owen and everything, and Owen, this very, soft-hearted, like, I guess, just like, cool, collected guy.
Right.
And then like, how she gives him a little attitude, like a little whiplash back, and then like how she owns things, like when Owen told her to dress up with all this stuff, all this gear, unnecessary gear that she didn't need it.
Yeah, he was just like fucking with her.
Yeah, exactly. Just buying all this stuff that you didn't need at the place and bought like a pink utility belt and a hard hat.
And she does it. She's like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to wear my pink utility belt.
Exactly. She gets all these stares, just like gives her flashbacks too. And then she's like, got to protect it safe, and it just taps the hammer on the heart. I'm like, you are owning it, girl.
Feisty.
I loved it. Yes, very feisty.
Super feisty. And I love a good feisty gal.
Honestly, there's nothing sexier than a feisty woman. Like, honestly, it's just like...
Yes.
Like, whew. Yeah. I gotta say, that's... she says... how she says umph a lot or whatever in the book? Yeah, mine is just like, whew. Just...
Woof at your oomph.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Exactly. So.
Would you date Ainsley?
Oh my God, yes. In a hot second. Yeah.
Perfect. So. Okay, cool. And I feel like that's... When you're reading as a woman, I feel like usually it... Okay, let me rephrase that. When you're reading as a heterosexual woman, I feel like typically you're supposed to be drawn to the male hero. The character that you can put yourself in the mind of the woman that's in this book and be attracted to this man. And I'm with you in that I was definitely feeling Owen the whole book. I was like, ooh, I'm not feeling the fact that he's going through a messy divorce.
No, that's his own situation to deal with.
Right.
But I do have comments
it
about
happens.
That too.
It happens, and that's kind of, so she's got the whole, stuff going on with her dad and like the guy she's working for.
And the gay men that she's encountered.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. No, we need to talk about that for a second
please.
Because she has this like terrible luck with getting crushes on guys that always are gay. Like
just gay.
It's happened multiple times.
Yeah, the chocolate one too, and also the chocolate guy's name when she meets her chocolatier, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
His name is Azam.
Yeah.
And my best friend is named Azam. So I thought like the whole like like little like
go.
things that just like connect with this. But I'm like, oh my God, what?
Right.
This book, like,
it was like me and my
meant...
birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like,
with you and your birthday, and just like the characters in this book.
We were meant to read
exactly.
this book.
I was just like so surprised. I was also surprised that that the way she described Azam had like a kind of like a big beardish thing. I was like, I know most like I don't mean to like be stereotyping her, but I'm pretty sure I've seen most gay men just like have like a little buzz or like clean shaven face.
They keep it tight.
Yeah, somewhere in other places, yeah. Like they keep it clean and fresh. So I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Appeal. I can see why she thought that he was gay though now.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's
and
there's him, there's the chocolate guy. I think they mentioned a couple other ones, and there's obviously Owen's brother, which she's seen at step class, and she's apparently bad at stepping. He like teases her for it, but that I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. So of course when she and Owen do start working together, they're flirting. He's like super into her, she's super into him, and then she sees his brother grab him on the ass, and she's like, oh crap, it happened again. Exactly. He's gay.
Leading up to that too, like when they're at the workplace too, like she was saying how she noticed like he didn't really look down at her breasts or whatever.
Right.
Just like looked at the face. I was like, that's just him being a gentleman.
Damn that guy being polite. Shit.
Exactly. God, just fucking look at my breasts. Shit.
Well, so one of the conversations they have, because once she like starts to think that he's gay, and he doesn't realize that that's what she's thinking.
I can't imagine that. I'm hanging out with a girl, and then she thinks I'm gay this
thinks
time.
They're on a date.
Yes,
like he's like, we are out on a date.
You have no idea how.
God, and she's like flirting with other guys, and they have this conversation that I thought was so funny, and I was like, oh my God, I've had such a similar conversation like this with a guy friend, where she asks him about orgasms and like how they feel from a male point of view. Yeah. She says, let's see, I have it here. Is every orgasm the same? I mean, for girls, it's different. Oral versus sex, mood, attraction, all those things affect how it feels. But guys, they just come. So does it feel the same each time, or does it like change?
It's so relatable, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Right. It's just like, what is this conversation? No, I was like,
I feel like that's a conversation that a lot of people have had. So I thought it was hysterical. But he, of course, is like, I can't believe this girl is talking about orgasming with me.
As like him knowing, I feel you, dude. Like I feel like I felt him so hard this entire time. Like, I know that she thinks you're gay, and you're probably just thinking, oh my God, are we going to bang later after lunch?
Right. I mean, that just sounds like foreplay, right? Like,
exactly,
she's talking about this. Like, ooh,
yeah, we're going to go back to their place or mine or, car or anywhere.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much.
Yeah. I feel him, though. I was just like, my God. But also, like, if I was asked that on a date, I would freeze up. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Like what's the context of this conversation? Yeah. No, I feel it.
The way she speaks and talks to is just so like, blunt and just like no filter, which I love. And like, especially in not the dialogue, when she says how she'd like to make him roar or something like I forgot the exact words. I'm trying to find it, but basically she just said like, oh God, how would I love to make him like stroke his thing and
his thing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And just like but I remember clearly she said, and just make him roar. I'm like, what?
There's definitely at one point too, she's like, I want you to come all over me, and she has zero filter when it gets down to the dirty, which is hot. I'm like, get it. Like that's how it should be.
And this is why it was a good idea to not listen to Audible in the car, because when the car is on loud and your windows are down, imagine someone just driving next to you and all of a sudden you just hear, I want you to come on me, and the other guy just stands there.
You just look over and you're like, interesting. Like, not the podcast I was expecting someone to be listening to.
I mean, and then imagine the driver looking at you like, what the fuck?
Yep, whatever.
It's like, hey, man, I need to enjoy my needs somehow,
It's jealousy. They're just jealous. Exactly. They're just jealous. And then Owen I thought was great. Owen, I feel like I found more relatable, and I definitely... I don't want to say I liked him more than Ainsley, but I did. There were times where Ainsley would get upset. Like at one point, she's just like not trusting him because he's going through this like heinous divorce with his almost ex-wife. And at first he doesn't tell her that he's getting divorced, but it's like they're not even really together or dating. Like they literally jump from her thinking he's gay to like almost having sex at work, and then him leaving and basically them deciding that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I'm like,
you missed one part. Then
which one?
Phone sex.
Oh, and then phone sex. That's right. Yeah.
What?
Well, doesn't the whole conversation about we're gonna be like boyfriend and girlfriend now, doesn't that come via text
God,
message too?
I hated that so much. No, it was over a phone call, I think.
Okay.
I think.
A lot of like conversations that are like very important happen via text.
It was
or
almost
phone
like such
call
a
in this
millennial
book.
type of thing, you know? But I'm like, wait, you guys are 20. Well, I guess that's still millennial, I guess. Oh, wait.
Yeah, they're millennials for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still like, it was just very like. They have phone sex because they almost hook up at work, which I was like, excuse me, aren't you supposed to be working right now?
Oh, they're working something out for sure.
We're working it out. And then he's like, I have to go back to Washington, D.C. and like work some stuff out. He's going to talk to the ex-wifey, and while he's there, they have phone sex. Great, fine. Yeah. And then they, I think, decide on the phone that he's like, so you're my girlfriend now. Yeah. I'm your boyfriend. I'm like,
cringed at that.
What? You haven't been on a date? Well, I guess that one weird one where she thought he was gay, but I don't know. It jumped really fast. And then at the end, when they have like their little kind of like time apart and, you know, sort of, I call it the breakup moment where it's like, oh my God, we're breaking up for no reason, basically. Yeah. And they agree, we're going to meet 5 days from now at our spot, our picnic table spot.
The classic first spot.
Yeah, and work things out. And so when they set that up, I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to have like this big moment at the picnic table, right? They like text each other before they even get there. Like, it's like 2 hours before then. And they're like, I love you. I'm so sorry. I'm like, why are you doing this? Oh. Yeah, Chris is cringing because he's like, why was this done via text message? It was a disappointment.
Yes, it was. It built up so hard.
Yeah. Hard. Fast.
Yes,
thick.
hard. Yes, it built up so hard, and then it just dropped. Like, literally it went erect, and it just went fucking slap. Just, like, on the floor.
No, I mean, you're totally right. And it's not to say that I didn't enjoy the rest of the book, but it was just it was a big letdown for, like, the big moment.
When you think of romance, you think of something shit like The Notebook, you know?
Right.
Fucking running up to the
gesture.
Exactly.
The big gesture and the big
hug, the big kiss.
Yes.
Everything.
There's music in the streets.
Yes.
Like, I was just like,
kissing
this
in
is
the
being
rain.
done via text message.
I know. It's just like, this can't be us. This is really like our generation. Please stop.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but also, not only that, it evolved so fast because when he found out that she thought he was gay, they immediately just told each other, like, I'm gonna fuck you. Like, it's like, what?
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it was kind of, I guess, I don't know what the word would be. It was like, the book would make so much sense, and like, these relationships would gel very well until they wouldn't. Like, then it would like be that they were gonna hook up, and they would have this weird, like, back and forth banter of like, I'm gonna fuck you so hard. Yeah. No, I'm gonna fuck you so hard.
I'm gonna fucking ravage you.
Yeah, I'm gonna ravage you into the bed. And you just be like, what is this, a competition? Yeah. Like, you're not trying to one-up each other.
It's definitely foreplay for sure. I mean, like, I get it. You guys need something to get you guys going.
I guess that's just what works for them, you know? And they found each other, and it, you know, worked.
The context on, like, him saying, like basically, like, bulge pressing against my zipper. I'm like, that is so true for guys when they get a boner. I am not gonna lie. Like,
right.
It is the true statement any guy can relate to, only because, like, it's so true. Because, like, think about, like, oh god, especially in jeans, it's like, there's at least, it's thick enough to create a barrier. But, like, if you think back to high school, if you ever seen, like, the old backpack trick from guys, basically, like, you're sitting on your student desk. And you just, if you see a kid, slide their backpack over on top of their lap and then stand up, and that's when you know he has a boner. Yeah.
Oh my god! See,
such a
like 15-year-old Kelly wouldn't have known that. Like, I feel like that's not something. And now I'm like trying to think of every time I ever saw a guy with a backpack in his lap.
He has a boner. He has a boner for sure. It's worse than basketball shorts, that's for sure.
Oh, God, yeah. That's, like, no concealing it whatsoever.
Nope, it's just...
Well, and how natural is it, like, to see somebody walking around holding a backpack in their lap? Like...
It's just, like, you know, and it's just... I felt him so... I there's so many things as a guy that I relate to this guy, for sure.
Good,
you know?
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's... Whenever I read a book, I want to love the guy and want to be friends with the girl. That's like always what I look for. And I feel like overall I could do that with this book. Like, I really did like Owen, Ainsley, I liked a lot. I was like, I could be friends with Ainsley. Like, she's a lot of damage. Like, she's a lot of things she's working through. But she's making steps to work through them.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that, for sure. Yeah, no, it's I feel like other than the things I've mentioned, like I really did appreciate most other things. Like I liked that he kind of left the desk job to pursue something more creative. The dialogue is like hysterical and also like cringy at times, like just because it's so like silly, like back and forth, but there were definitely a lot of things that they said in this book that I was like, oh my gosh, I am going to take that and I am going to use that now. The first one I can think of is clitoris catnip.
Oh my God.
Clitoris catnip.
Oh, God.
I mean, why isn't that? They mentioned the clit like multiple times in this book and I was like, good for you. I am all about, there's an umph. I flipped to a page where she says umph, UNF. That's her word. So that's clitoris catnip, umph. I don't know if I could say that because I feel like that wouldn't come out naturally.
It would. It doesn't come out naturally. I don't think I've ever heard that before, saying clitoris catnip. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Just say you're fucking horny or something. Like, it's as simple as that. Like,
clitoris catnip.
Why do I have to break it down for you? You know, clitoris catnip. Let me explain.
I shouldn't have to explain it to you.
You use that in a sentence. You define
there was
that.
Also, she says something about getting blue bean. She's like, you get blue balls, I get blue bean.
You know, I never heard that before. I know blue ball, obviously. But...
Yeah, no, I'd never heard it before either. But I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, I mean, again, I'm like, okay, why not? But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking through my notes, and I have notes like, yay, blowjob, or like, interesting moment, girl power. The girls were fun, her friends.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the
realistic view of, like, two best friends that you should have. Like, you know, one is really hard ass on you.
Yeah.
Also, one of the friends does CrossFit, apparently, is part of the CrossFit cult. I was like, hey, awesome.
I know her.
I know her. She's probably been to my gym.
Yeah. Those three girls, I think, are, like, the protagonists in the 3 books in this series.
Oh, really? Oh, it goes on with their lives?
Yeah, I think so. Because when we start... with this book, I want to say it's not named as a series. Like usually I tell everybody if this is a series, but it's not named as a specific series. But Stud, I believe, is the second book. I think Legs is the first. Because remember in Stud, when we meet the friends, one of them is already in a relationship and she's made changes already to like pursue.
Oh, so it could be about her. That's actually,
I'm pretty sure that's who Legs is about. And then I'm pretty sure at the end of this book, we kind of get an idea of who Lick is going to be about because it's the other friend. What's her name?
Rachel? No. Gwen.
Yeah. And she sees somebody that she recognizes from her past.
My God, so much of this remembrance going on.
Yes, I know, right?
Oh, it's okay. It's just my phone dropped.
Oh, okay.
You know, and also like some of the context, like Owen is a real romantic, right? He's a real Shakespeare. Like, you know, he says like this line where like I made it my mission to, this part, it's flashback, I love this part. So it's definitely like such a great like flashback as like all high school boys with hormones raging and everything, you know, like my mother had me at 15, something that scared the crap out of me. It had kept me away from girls a while until I discovered sex. And like, it's just like, and he goes on, and I love it. I may have been a late bloomer, but the studious kid I was, I made it my mission to uncover the glorious riches of a woman's body.
Yes!
Like, that is said in a way where it's not just like, now it's that, like, I want to fuck that girl. It's like, this is really, like, how you should say it. Like, that's awesome.
That's a cool setup for him, too. And it's such a difference from, like, a lot of romance heroes where we have them being, like, they're just a player and they fucked so many girls and everything. He's more of, like, no, it took me a while to get started, but then when I did, I was like, damn, I'm going to learn everything that I can.
It's like
you know?
Every canvas was different. Each woman had her own secrets. Her body was a treasure map. I'm like, dude.
That's hot.
I need to learn from you, dude. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, if somebody texted me that, I'd be like, come over now. Like, discover me. Discover the map.
Yeah.
Have you seen, what's that movie? It's one of my favorites, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion.
I have not.
Oh, okay. There's like a part where she's pretending to have sex in the office with some guy, basically just to like get him to do something for her. And he's like feeding her lines to say so everyone will hear. And one of them is, you are Columbus and I am America. Discover me, Ramon. No. Discover me. So that's what I thought of with the map.
Oh, God.
But Anyway, it's just my own personal favorite.
Owen, personal favorite?
I love that movie. Love it. We've mentioned so many great movies. You like rom-coms.
I consider myself a helpless romantic, meaning I love romance, I love romantic comedies, and I love doing romantic stuff too as well. If I have a significant other, I would do like a lot of romantic stuff.
You're not going to do romantic stuff by yourself?
Well, I don't even, what?
I don't even know what that would mean.
I know. Wait, I'm just trying to think, like jack off?
Yeah, that's romantic. Have you seen those, you know how people do, like, engagement shoots and everything? Engagement shoots, like, when they get engaged.
Oh, yes.
Like, okay, so there's ones that I've seen where, like, this person, like, instead of having a significant other, they, like, did engagement shoots with, like, their burrito.
Oh, that would be me with a donut.
Yeah, see, that's romantic.
That's true. I mean, I can go right into that hole. So
yeah, there you go. Something to do next weekend, you know, when you're bored, like whatever. But the one thing that was cute, I mean, and it ties into the whole idea of stud and nail, is that in the beginning we find out that Ainsley likes to do crossword puzzles, like she's like a crossword puzzle app. I love, it's such a tiny thing, but I love that Kelly Siskind like kept that up through the whole book.
It was
like
really cool.
Up into the very last page. Like it ends where the like
utopia.
Clue is in the answer's utopia, but she's like, utopia was us. Like we were the answer, basically.
That's really cool. And I really love how she titled each chapter.
Yes.
Like with that too. Because like the English language is so crazy because it has multiple definitions of certain words.
Right.
Like, I've actually found out more about certain words with the titles. I'm like, it means this and that. I was like, what?
There were definitely
There was one of my favorite titles.
Like, do you pick one out to read so we can give like examples? I've got one here. Chapter 22 is 8 letters for the vertical frames alongside window openings or the hunky guy you're madly in love with. Answer, King Stud.
King Stud. No, and then mine was, I think, 8, just because it was the whole waiter situation when they went out to dinner.
Okay.
It was a 10-letter word for a small elevator used to move objects between floors. Or the asshole who hits on your dinner date. And it was dumb waiter. I'm like, I didn't even know I thought dumb waiter was just dumb waiter.
Oh, you don't remember dumb waiter? Well, okay, no, I'm not going to say do you remember them like I had them in my life.
Right,
no.
Right.
I know what a dumb waiter is from watching like old movies.
Okay.
Where
I didn't watch
like,
a lot of old movies.
It's like the little elevator that's like in walls, but instead of like transporting people, it's like you would put like your dirty dishes in it.
Like Home Alone. Oh,
yes,
my God. Yes. Wow, those things are. I've always wanted to go inside one, honestly.
You know what? Like, I don't think you're encouraged to, but you know, like whatever.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when she actually goes on a date with the dumb waiter too, as well.
Yes.
I was like really feeling that whole vibe on like how when she was out with him, you know, wasn't feeling like Owen, you know, and then like that's how you know like. You are definitely dating the right person if you're dating this other, or if you went on a date with this person.
And you know that it's wrong.
This is not right. It doesn't feel like how like we connect, and how she described how like Owen was like, man, we've been talking to each other, and she hasn't even looked at her phone, you know? And
yes.
I was like, that is so awesome.
That's the best. I mean, it's
genuine connection. I love how the book ties into a lot of like genuine connections with like. Besides the phone stuff, I was just like
right. It's so funny how it really does tie into so many connections, but then there's that too. Like I'm just like, come on, get off the phone and tell her you love her in real life.
Exactly. And then
IRL.
In the beginning, they're sharing so much like history with themselves.
Yes.
With, like his mother being like a hippie and all this, and the Nana taking care of him, and then I gotta admit the whole Nana. I want to see an actual movie version of this because I want to see who played Nana and just see the scene where like she flicks both boys in the ear, and like I was like, that's so cute. Like,
that was cute. Yeah, it was really.
Nana is badass too.
There were a lot of good side characters in this book. Like I felt like everybody had their own personality. Even Nana's only in like one scene, but I'm like, but I know who you are. I know exactly who this Nana is. Everybody had this.
He was trying to help her clean the dishes. Like, hey Nana, let me help you, and then she's like, don't act like I'm gonna break. I'm like,
right, like how dare you? Like I don't need help.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah, no, there were so many people that I'd be like, oh, this reminds me of like my friend's dad, or this reminds me of my friend's grandmother. Like, I mean, it had a lot of good connections, and I think anybody reading this would find those connections too to people in their lives. So, in the end, you know, it all works out. Obviously, they like have their moment, and Ainsley dumps all the bad men she's been shopping for and starts her own business, which I was like, good for you. She's got a website and everything.
Yeah, it was just fantastic. I was just like, wow, man, you're really pulling moves finally now, I guess.
Yeah, it took long enough.
Yeah, just it's more like she's bettering herself within herself and like what she's doing with her life. I guess that's like the whole tying in stuff, Not a better person as in the superficial, It's
right.
Person,
and it's funny because I never, and you know what, maybe this was in the previous book, like leading up to this one, but I never read her as superficial, like in this story. I was like, there was never a moment where I thought of, like, why? Because she likes to shop and she made a living of it? That doesn't make her superficial.
Yeah. And being a smart shopper will always come in handy. I always look for the best deals,
Yeah.
Always look for the best deals.
She volunteers and, she clearly wants to leave her job. So I'm like, you do want to change. Like, you're making steps to do it. It's not like you're just being like, yeah, I hate my life. I hate my job. Like, like, there was never a moment where I felt like she was just, like, doing nothing.
Yeah.
So
she was always hustling. Always hustling.
Yeah, and then the only person who can eat shit in this story would be Owen's ex-wife.
Oh my god, Tessa, dude. That's like that's what you call like
garbage.
Yeah, and just like that crazy bitch. The title of crazy bitch. That's
and it's for real, because it's like, I don't like to say like people are crazy, but like in this story, they do have that great moment where they sit down and basically he kind of owns up to like
all
his role in the divorce. Like, I realized like I wasn't there, and I could see why you strayed away and why things went bad. Like, I'm taking responsibility for it. And I'm like, oh, great. They're having an adult conversation. This is wonderful. And then the conversation still ends with her being like,
crazy
wait,
as fuck.
You're still leaving me? You brought me here just to apologize to me?
I thought the message was clear, to be honest. Like, it's just like...
And I'm like, you expected him to, like, come back to you after all you've done? Like, this... Yeah, crazy. Cray. No.
And also, it's just relatable, too, because, like, I have actually been through that situation before. Not, like, that part, like, where an ex of mine actually said that I cheated on her. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's just like, it's very, and I get him too, because like, that scene where he went to her workplace and then the friend that one of Tessa's friends was like, he was greeting, and all of a sudden he's just like, I can't believe you're the worst type of person, I'm just like,
God,
that
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that is so terrible. Like, you don't even know the there's always, I always like say this, there's two sides of the story and there's two sides of the coin. You have to look at both. You can't just take one side.
And she's not even trying to know his side of the story. Like, nobody is trying. I mean, that was the one thing I forgot about, that whole element too, because it's been a while since I read this, but that not only were they like getting divorced, but they were getting divorced because she thought he cheated on her with one of the people he was volunteering with at Habitat for Humanity. And not only does she think that, and she's wrong, but she's telling all their friends in DC, she's telling all these people, like, not to be
why does it gotta be so explicit? Just this should be personal shit. But also he says how like she doesn't like to lose, But honestly, that's just called being a sore loser.
Well, and then it goes even beyond, because he leaves DC. He goes to San Francisco. He set up his new life. He's doing his woodwork, which is cool.
Doing his passion.
And then the ex-wife goes out of her way to, like, be contacting Ainsley, telling her, oh, he's a cheater. She's sending her pictures to prove that he's cheating. And that was, like, the one thing with Ainsley, too, where I was like, why aren't you believing him? Like, what has he done to give you cause for you not to trust him?
Exactly. And also, it also relates to, because one of her exes cheated on him. That's why. So that's why she does that, which I get, because my friend also has, like, trust issues too as well.
Right.
So, like,
so once it's happened, you kind of always have it, like, in the back of your head that it could happen again.
Yeah. I'm a very hopeful person with people. So like, it's just like, like, I don't really cling on to the past.
Just gotta adjust the mindset.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you're right. It really is about kind of like shedding the past and moving forward. And that's a great message. I mean, it really is. And I enjoyed reading it, and I kind of zipped through reading it too. Did you find it like a fast read or a fast listen?
It was a fast read only because it was enjoyable and it was just simple. Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
Not a fast listen, no. No. The audio was very slow. So I was just like, can you pick up
and
the
you were
pace?
too busy looking around, wondering if somebody was listening to you listen.
A little bit, yeah. On the sidewalk, someone crossing across, just like, what the...
So in terms of the explicit nature of the book, do you have a particular scene that you'd like to share with the class here?
Particular scene, is it when they first started fucking? I think I'm pretty sure they just went on and on, dude. Like,
it just went on and on. My favorite is like the dialogue that they have when they start hooking up, because it's just so...
Yes, can we please go to that part, like when they found out that like he wasn't gay or whatever, like, because that part just really... Oh my god! Also this line too.
Oh,
like,
I know exactly which part you're talking
one?
About.
Is it the... Well, I was thinking of this part too, like how like she was talking about like, you know, oral versus sex, oral sex versus sex. I didn't realize that actually tied in later too in the book with the phone sex. Wow, that just connected to me right now. Holy crap. Well, also he was saying like after she was telling Owen about like what it's like for like, but guys, you know, just come and all that stuff, right? He was like, Jesus H Christ, if I was hard before, I was iron now. I'm like... Thankfully covered by a tablecloth.
I love when men in romance describe their boners, because there's always like,
you know what,
I'm rock hard wood, I'm iron, I'm steel. Like, it's always like lots
I
of
am
like
giantly erect.
Yes. But it's always compared to like lumber yards, or, you know, I mean, it's very like, manly, working with goods, you know, in yard.
Hammer, you know.
Hammer, yes.
And also, just like, it's easy to tell when the guy's horny because there's something at the bottom of their pants about to stick up. Girls, we can't tell. So, you know, you guys don't have any appendages down there. So, you know.
No.
Like, it's just like, guys have this thing, and it's kind of hard to shift sometimes. You know, we have techniques, you know. There's like... Whatever.
We have to give birth.
Okay, so that's true. All right, okay, you guys...
Get over it.
You guys went on that one. I'm not... I
mean, we don't have to be fair.
That is true.
But
if you do have to, that definitely is a lot
And if you
worse.
don't, then you just bleed, which sucks. Chris is like, I'm done with this conversation. This one, let's see. This was where, I think when they were at the when they were still working and they started like making out, like they were going to hook up.
Yeah, I think we're at the same part.
They just have this back and forth, like, so first it's, he stepped so close, his belt buckle caught on my t-shirt. I'm gonna fucking ravage you. A throb of want pulsed between my thighs. I'm gonna fuck you so hard the sheets will catch fire.
Oh my god.
And then she comes back with, I want to taste every inch of you. And he comes back with, I want you to come all... Oh no, that's her. I want you to come all over me.
Yeah. That'd be interesting if it was the guy, honestly. See, that's why I don't understand. He literally just said, like, you thought I was gay? And then all of a sudden, they go into this fucking sexual banter. I'm just like, what just happened?
Like, literally, the line of dialogue before I'm gonna fucking ravage you is, I'm not gay, Ainsley.
Yeah.
Like, that's the...
And they, like, I would... If I was a woman, right? And then a guy literally said that to me after that, I was like... I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, this took a massive turn.
That was one of my what moments, you know?
And then they make out, and then a couple pages later, they have this other like dialogue back and forth. You're so damn beautiful. Your hotness is at a nuclear level. Your eyes remind me of the beach. Yours remind me of... Yours are sinful chocolate.
They just need to stop and fuck, honestly. Yeah. They're just like, stop and just literally just...
For real.
Fucking do it. And
just
then
don't do it at work. It's dangerous. There's nails everywhere.
Nails everywhere, and she can get nailed in other places.
Get nailed.
Yeah. I will say this. I hated the fact that he said doll. I was like...
That he calls her doll?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
You don't like that? Are you more of a, like, baby?
Well, no, it's not like I didn't like the fact that it said doll. I was like, very random. Like, what are you, like, from the 70s? I mean, it's cute and all, but... I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of the time when I watched Space Jam, you know? And, okay...
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh no, I know exactly what you mean. And she's like,
Lola
doll.
Bunny. Yeah,
like
doll.
she hates being called doll.
Yeah, don't ever call me doll.
Oh
and then Bugs Bunny just goes wild. I'm like, I think from that ingrained moment as a child, I was like, okay, I promise not to call a girl doll.
Yikes. You know what? Yeah. It's not my favorite. I'm like, that wouldn't be the one where I would... doll and deer. Like, I don't want somebody to call me deer.
That's very, like...
Grandma.
Married, yeah, like married life 10 years in type of deal. So.
No, that's like...
That's like grandma? Is that grandma stuff?
Well, to me, I'm like, that's like something that grandma would say to you, like, oh, come here, dear. Like, you know, Like, I went to college with a girl who called everybody dear, and it just
sounded very grandma.
Me.
Was she a grandma type of girl too?
No.
She just said
she
dear
just
a
would
lot.
be like, oh, dear. I'm like, no, I'm not your dear. Like, sorry.
There's like a tier level when you in a relationship. Like at the beginning, like, hey babe, what's up, babe? Or like, and then in the next
finding,
level,
where do you go from here?
And then when it's married, just like, hey honey, and all that stuff. And then I guess grandpa level was like dear,
sweetiekins.
Yes, or that, or like
sweetiekins,
or buttercups or something like that.
Buttercup bunny boo.
Oh man, like what's the cringiest name that you've heard? Like someone call each other the significant other, you know? There are some cringy ones.
I don't know, because I feel like
Sugar
my roommate and I
that.
call our dog cringy names that I'm like, I hope nobody would ever say this to me as a woman. Like, we call him Pumpkin Angel.
Pumpkin Angel.
Yeah, or like Angel Baby. Like, if it's like more than one word, I don't want to hear it. Like, just keep it quick. Keep it like babe, baby. Sweet, you know, I'm like, done.
What's up, Maple Butterscotch? And it's like,
Maple Butterscotch. Come here, Maple It's like, it sounds like like
it's
when
too
you
much
name
work.
like a rabbit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, stop it.
Yeah, stop it right now. Stop.
Okay, do you want phone sex scene, blowjob scene, or that's it?
Let's go with the...
Wait, do they actually have sex?
You know
I feel like I've only marked pages where, you know what, the blowjob scene probably leads up to the sex scene, but that's funny that I only marked the pages where they're not having sex.
They had sex with a condom and then without the condom. And that's how you know things get real.
That's real. That's like, and they had the conversation too to be like, it's cool, you don't have to wear one. Like,
it's just like...
People, you know what's funny is we've had a lot of people on the podcast who have mentioned, they're like, I was amazed that they talked about condoms, or like that they used condoms. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty standard in a lot of romance novels now. In fact, now I'm at the point...
Gotta practice safe sex.
Yeah, well, and if they don't use one, or if like there's no mention of birth control whatsoever, it kind of throws me off. I'm like, oh, so this is like a she's getting pregnant kind of book. Like, they didn't mention it, you know?
So that's just like...
No pregnancy in this book. Sorry. Spoiler.
No pregnancy. I was expecting that at the end, you know, at the 2 months later, but I'm like, wait.
Pregnancy?
Actually, that just came to my thought. Like, 2 months later, that's kind of short, actually. Hold on a second.
Hey, you know, it only takes months.
I know at the end of the book you say you wanted kids, but 2 months impregnating, that's kind of a little bit jumping the board there. So.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a blowjob scene.
Okay.
Here we go.
Blow me away.
I didn't... It took me a minute. I didn't know if it was our blowjob conversation on that disastrous date or her inherent expertise, but Ainsley Hall sucking me off was a one-way ticket to Nirvana.
Oh my god, the Nirvana part.
Yes, which was exactly where she took me. Her full lips swallowed me, the head of my cock hitting the back of her throat. Ooh, that's deep. It was like she didn't have a gag reflex, taking me deeper, working me harder. Her small hands gripped and pumped while she sucked and used her tongue. I couldn't help but move my hips and fist her hair, knees wide as my balls pinched. So much heat flooding my groin, too much heat. I needed to see her eyes when I came, feel her pulse around me. Yeah, and then they have sex.
Oh my god. That is just really like...
Although before they have sex, he goes down on her and she says, stop talking and start licking.
Oh, that part.
Yeah. I like... Oh, and then this was the other line. After she orgasms from him going down on her, she says, if that's a form of religion, consider me a convert.
No, I hate that so much. It was so corny, but I was just like...
Yeah.
All right.
The dialogue, when they... Especially when it was like foreplay or them having sex, definitely borders on like corny, cringy.
Yeah, so much foreplay. But it's fun. It's very funny.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's something you'd see in a romantic comedy. You know?
Yeah, and you just kind of like cover your face like, oh my gosh. But then you keep reading because you're like, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah, I want to know what they're going to come back with next. It's just like I better change my religion and stuff like that. It's just one of those like...
I'm a convert. Do you have one for us?
I've been trying to look for one, honestly. Like I should have took notes better. But
okay.
I'm gonna say this right now. Just the blowjob thing. I would like to definitely have sex with Ainsley. Just like, take me to Nirvana, please. I want to...
Taking him to Nirvana.
Yeah, if Owen's feeling this way, I want to know what Owen's feeling right now. Take me a one-way ticket, please.
One-way ticket. Never coming back.
Never coming back.
She's taking him to Nirvana. He's converting her religion. Like, there's so much... like religious experience happening here.
I did like it was so funny. It's like she's like, there's so much man down there. I'm just like, yeah, I bet there is. So,
yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if I've ever read a romance with a normal sized penis.
This is my first time reading a romance novel, so like it was just a lot of things. Like my PG eyes got turned into R-rated after this. I was just like of reading, not like as in like PG as in reading wise.
See, and now you're gonna approach people on the street or like at the gym and be like, hey, think outside the dick in a box. Like, just that.
I would honestly recommend this book, honestly. It was just a fun little read. If
good.
Anybody's like,
perfect. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have anything specific left to say about the book, we can talk about that. And if you would recommend the book, would you read another book?
I would, actually.
Maybe not just like any other book. Like, would you read another romance?
I feel like I would, honestly. I really would. And then it's just because, like, this just ties into a lot of things, too, as well. Just because, like, I especially love the whole family situation at the end. Just, like, he got to meet her family, and then the dad did the whole scare routine and everything.
Yes.
It's like, I like this boy. He stood up for himself. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You want that in a guy. It's like that whole classic, like, like, can he throw a ball? Like, it's like...
Well, and her dad's, like, big and scary and, like, has tattoos and stuff, too. I was like, ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and the tattoo on his ass too.
Yeah.
So Owen has a tattoo on his ass, guys. He's got a Japanese lettering tattoo.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that. And it's this whole thing with his brother and how his brother had the words written in English and
how did you
tattooed
feel
on
about
him.
that?
What, that he has a Japanese tattoo?
Like, no, that the Japanese tattoo meant something, the lettering.
I mean, it was cute that they have the same tattoo, I guess, but I just kind of was like, I don't know. I thought it was just going to be like, it says like soy sauce or something, like just something that made like no sense. And like his brother was just like fucking with him, but.
And it has this whole revelation like, I should chase after Ainsley and stuff like that.
Right. I was like,
after that.
Tattoo on your ass? Really? That's going to be the motivation that gets you going? But,
yeah, do you, man.
I've seen less motivation in other books.
Oh.
So. Yeah. I'll settle for a ass tattoo. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. The whole situation too, where like he, let Ainsley leave the door, didn't chase after her. It's just like, I was like,
there's always, I feel like that moment.
There's conflict. There's always
too, where it's like a super strong meaning like emotionally put together, strong male character that you fall in love with, and he's always telling the female character like, I'm gonna be with you no matter what.
Exactly.
You're not gonna run, like not in like a creepy way, but like I'm not gonna let you get away from me. Like we are meant to be together, even if you're scared. Right. And then every time there's still that moment where he's like, okay, if you're gonna leave, like go on, like I won't chase out. I'm like, what? You're just going against everything that you've made me love you for. Like, why are you doing this to me?
I don't know what it stems from. Maybe it's like to make the situation not worse, from guys. So it's just like, try to maybe have the other person cool down or whatever if they need to or something like that. But then like
that.
It's just like I think things just need to be more direct, like just tell the other person what it is. Like he took so long, well also the little interruptions that Owen got, like in trying to tell him like, oh, I'm getting a divorce. Oh, I swear to, and my divorced wife is spreading lies about that stuff. Yeah. And it's just like,
and it was always right when like he and Ainsley would like find a good place with each other, and then another bad thing about him would come out. Oh my gosh, I don't trust you, I don't believe you. They work it out. Another bad thing. Yeah, it was very like paint by numbers, like formula.
Which happens in relationships too. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's totally real. Like, I mean, we can chalk it up to just another trope of like, rom-com storytelling, but that's also a major component of life and relationships. So.
I truly believe like a relationship is never a relationship if you've never had a fight. If you've never seen the ugly side. You have to see the ugly side of the person to really know them. Because there's no such thing as a relationship without a fight.
And if you haven't had a fight, I just feel like we're
not encouraging one.
Like, I feel like you don't talk enough. I'm like, what are you doing if you're not having a fight?
Yeah, and then the whole scene with the whole, like, his ex-wife, like, spreading the lies really got to me just because, like, I understand that as, like, coming from like a male's like standard, like there are those douchebag assholes, you know, that like cheat on their girlfriends or wives and everything. But there's some of us where like we are like taught to like, and how we describe like, this is how I should image myself as a man. That's what Owen says, you know, like after watching Western guys, and that's how my dad and my mom like taught me, you know. It's just like, you got to be just like, you know, just a really good guy, take care of your family, take care of the person that you're dating, you know, always be loyal and all that stuff. And it's like when someone does that to you and spread the lies and other people start believing it, then it doesn't really affect you as much. It affects the morals that were taught down to you as well. And I believe strongly in that, because like when you tell the lies about me and you're literally disrespecting me, you're not disrespecting me myself, you're disrespecting my mother and father who raised me up to be this way. So that's like the really angry part of it. It's not the fact that I am not this way, you know. It's really like,
you're not that way.
Yeah, exactly. I was, and then like with my situation, like with that, like I was very thankful that like it wasn't like his situation where like immediately her friends just took her side immediately. Like, you know, they actually, like, I've known them before like I dated this person, and like they understood like I would never do that as well, and they knew that it was a lie, you know. And it's just like, I really appreciate it, because that just really shows that like at least they know me as a person that I would never do that.
Well, and that's kind of what happens in the story too, is that when Ainsley for a second thinks that maybe he did cheat on her, you know, her friends are kind of telling her the same thing, like, I don't know, you know, like, we know him, the guy I'm with knows him, like, I don't think he's that kind of person, like, you're not giving him the benefit of the doubt, you're not listening to what he has to say.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's, oh boy, so many connections to be had between real life.
like with any relationship I go into it with like, you know, full like, you know, trust and not like, you know, jealousy, because it's really interesting thing to say, because like when a guy says they're not jealous, they're like, oh, they're kind of jealous. I'm really truly not jealous, because like
fresh.
It's like I go into it this way, like if you cheat on me, then that's it immediately, you know, like I give you my trust.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, if you break that trust, then it's just over, because like you know, I'm not gonna be the jealous type, because that also like jealousy like stains relationships too as well. It's just like this little thing that shouldn't be there. Just give the person, it's hard to say give the person your trust if you've been through traumatic experiences, but for me, like, I do give this person my trust, because if they cheat on me, then that's it, you know. I know that it's not meant to be and all that stuff. It's just
so like, I have to ask you, because I know that we're both fans of the TV show Friends.
Yes.
Where do you stand on the whole Ross and Rachel thing?
We were on a break.
Because there's the whole like we're on a break thing, but also that he was so insanely jealous of her. I don't know. I know, it's so hard.
They both made mistakes along the way, you know, and it's just like we were on a break situation. Like, I don't know where to stand, to be honest, because they both made stupid mistakes. They're both non-communicative. And it was just like, I don't have an opinion, to be honest. I really don't.
No, that's not. I mean, I've been watching it for 20 years at this point, and I still don't, like, I think where I've landed after 20 years of watching it is that, you know, they were on a break. That doesn't necessarily make it okay.
It's not,
that he went out and had sex with somebody, you know, like a day after they broke up.
Yeah, that part is not okay,
However, I don't necessarily also think that's wrong. Like, I think that if that's the way he was trying to heal, that I don't think it's a healthy way, but that it's also not wrong. Like, I don't think she should punish him for that. However, if they like got back together, I also wouldn't, in Rachel's position, wanted to get back together immediately. Like, to be like, we were apart for a day and I realized I'm wrong, like, it just seemed like they needed space to start with, to like talk about these things rather than like jump in, jump out, jump back in again sort of thing. But anyway.
Just a lot. That's just a lot, honestly.
It's a lot. Oh my gosh. We've had many fabulous references on this episode. So.
Oh no, I mean, I my life is full of references.
Well, we could just make like a playlist for our listeners for you know, everything that's come out of this episode. You know, you gotta watch Friends season 3. You have to watch Crazy Stupid Love, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion.
Exactly. Just like everything ties in this book in a lot of ways, and it's a very just like nice book on just like just basic, like,
relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, and not just romantic relationships, but friendships, familial relationships. I mean, so you can see, like, with all the references we made, that it's definitely going to feel very relatable, like, regardless of where you're coming from.
Yeah. And I just love how, like, you can tell, like, how times have really changed, just because, like, in the book, they mention, gay friends and also like gay brother and just like the part I hate, cell phones shit, texting and everything like that, and just like just the whole like vibe of this really like relates to like current generation readers, like in their like early 20s to like mid 30s,
in both good and negative ways.
Exactly,
for sure.
Because like it's like in the early 30s parts, because there's always going to be that like friend that is going to go through a divorce. I'm not saying knock on wood, but like there's going to be someone that's going through a divorce.
Right.
And then there's going to be someone that's going through tough times in their job.
Well, and they also kind of jump into their relationship very quickly,
fast.
which is very much indicative of like the type of relationships that are happening with millennials and Gen Zers.
Yeah, it's usually just take it step by step. Usually,
It's anyway. Okay, well, having taken all of that into account and discussed it now, I'm going to ask you to give the book a few grades.
Okay.
So you're going to grade on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the very best that it could possibly be for story, syntax, and sexcapades. So let's start with the story overall, out of 10.
I give it a 7.5.
Okay, no, I gave it a 7, so we're definitely in the ballpark.
Okay, good. We're matching up
and I
there.
think we kind of covered what was missing and what kind of just like
what did not need to be there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's pretty obvious why it's not a 10. But also good enough to be a 7 as well.
Yeah.
How about the syntax? So Miss Siskind's writing. What did you think of her style, her word choice?
I love the titles of the chapters,
Same.
without a doubt. That was definitely my favorite part of going into each chapter.
Yeah.
It gave me a little quick, like, even if it was so short, it gave me like a quick little summary of like, I know what to expect going on,
Yeah.
And then as far as like dialogue and just like...
it's hard because it's like the dialogue and banter was like really fun and like really silly, but like in a fun, playful way, but at the same time it almost felt like it didn't belong for me, like just based off of like all their other interactions, and then they would start talking dirty to each other that I'm
exactly.
like, where did this come from?
Yeah, there's a lot of like what the come from them.
So many people also are like, super like you wouldn't necessarily expect what they do in the bedroom based off of
like the context,
knowing them in real life kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. What do you think?
6. Only I give it a 6 and not a 5, only because the parts that made me laugh is what made it a 6.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I'm gonna grade it up a little bit. Because I did think the writing was really fun.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
I definitely, having read this, would read more of her books and more of this series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There were definitely moments that made me laugh where I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be laughing, like kind of thing. But whatever. Oh, we're just assholes. How about sexcapades?
Sexcapades. I'm not gonna lie. As the first time romance reader.
Yes, say it.
Some parts did, as the book would say, get my blood boiling down there.
Yeah.
So
Take you to Nirvana. Religiously convert you.
I think I'm converted to romance novels in a way almost.
Yes! Oh, quote of the episode.
Oh, jeez. I would say I give it an 8.5. Just because, like, it really was entertaining, but also not just the super sex ones, but also just like Owen describing a woman in a very Shakespeare way. I was just really taken by that, and just like, I kind of want to use that in my language now, instead of the whole like, oh, that girl's hot or banging. I want to say like, I want to explore that canvas and paint it like one of Leonardo DiCaprio's French girls. And all
I can guarantee, paint me like those French girls. I can guarantee if you were sexting with a woman and you were like, I want to explore that map and like discover new, that would be so hot. It'd be so much hotter than I'm gonna come over and tap that pussy. Like,
yeah, it's just so like, all right, cool. So like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So set yourself apart.
Oh God.
Yeah, sexcapades. I'll give a 9.
9.
Like
okay,
I thought it was good. I thought it was raunchy. I'm always a big fan of like the foreplay scenes, and I feel like those were really good. So love a good phone sex scene. Yeah, I don't know, clitoris catnip, right? So I'm hooked. But I'm looking forward to reading another Kelly Siskind, and I definitely plan to check out the other books in the series, both of which I think are already out. So
I'm pretty sure they're out now.
Yeah, so everybody listening to this one, if you want to check out the other books in the series, you might want to start with Legs. I think Legs does come first, and then Stud, and then Licks. Oh, so we've ruined your sentence, Chris. It's not Stud, Licks, Legs. It's Legs, Stud, Lick.
But then again, if you remember Star Wars, that's not watched in order too. So, it could be, Stud, Licks, Legs.
Another reference for the ages. Exactly.
We're getting a bunch of references out here, man.
This is going to become a pop culture podcast for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, so do you think you'll check out either A, another romance novel, or B, would you want to read another one of the books in the series?
I think I'm curious about the other books in the series, just because if it does relate to the other two friends, I definitely want to know a little more.
Yeah, because you've gotten to know these people, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when season 10 of Friends ended. They're your friends forever.
I cried.
Oh my god, it was the worst. I was just like.
You're bringing up bad memories.
I know, I'm sorry.
God, but no, I'm with you. I think we'll both check them out and see what we think. But all in all, this is a book I'd recommend. I think you said it before that
it's a good starter to someone who's never read one, and because it's not crazy intense. It's not.
So you should bring it to the gym and set it out.
I've actually brought it. I brought it to the gym, and I've told people at the gym because we have questions of the days, and some of the questions of the days are. What's the last book you read? I told them that.
Stud!
Yeah, exactly.
Drop that mic.
I did. I told them stud, and I'm doing it for a podcast, and I'm just like...
Perfect.
And honestly, very, very entertaining book. As it says on the book, a smart, sexy, romantic comedy. It really is smartly done.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I like that you brought that up, and I think you're absolutely right. I don't think you're... As much as we giggled and laughed, during moments, I don't think you're going to read this and just think... Oh my gosh, that was just, garbage,
raunchy,
trash. No, it really is so entertaining. There's great witty dialogue, banter, crossword puzzles. Hello. So, there's plenty to be had.
Yeah, and it's just it's just very the heartfelt moments really you can relate to almost.
And that's what sticks with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Oh God, we'll leave it there because that's so sweet and it's gonna give me the feels for the rest of the day. Yay!
But this was honestly awesome. Honestly, I love this.
Okay, I'm so glad you did this.
I thank you for having me. Honestly,
yeah, we'll make a convert of you yet.
Oh, I think I might be converted by now already. So.
Boom.